Trish. Thanks for joining us today as part of our series of videos for National Apprenticeship Week. So just wondered, first of all, if you could just introduce yourself and your role and your organisation.
Hi, Paul. So thank you for having me first off. It's been a real pleasure to talk about something that sits at the heart of who we are at Home Instead, which is raising the status, the skill and professionalising the role of care. So my name is Trish John, and I am the Learning Development Partner here at Home Instead in the UK National Office. So my role is to support our franchise network with everything learning and development, which includes apprenticeship delivery in partnership with TEND. So, yeah, it's great.
Excellent, thank you. And before you started working with us at TEND, what challenges were you facing around training, development, progression?
So it was very much in-house previously. So we're not a training provider here at National Office. So we needed to find a partner. So we went out, we did all our due diligence, and it stood out for us because they were willing to work with us to help us to grow the apprenticeship framework within health and social care for a franchise organisation. Because lots of training providers don't understand what a franchise organisation is. And the fact that we've got, although we're a global company, Home Instead, and we have a large national office, all of our offices out there are individually owned and operated. So they're all SMEs, small, medium enterprises. We have very few that are levy payers because they're not big enough for that. So they're all small businesses trying to make their way and grow the network and help us to professionalise the role of care. So that was one of our biggest challenges.
Okay, thank you. And then what made you choose to work with TEND as your training partner?
So we chose TEND, or Impact Futures as you used to be, purely and simply because you were willing to work with us around the already qualifications or the training that we actually had in-house that was all bespoke, specialised training. So the training that we have in Home Instead, such as our dementia training, has a Princess Royal Award training. So it's an assured with City and Guilds as well. So although we're not a training provider, we work really hard to make sure that our dementia, our end of life, our introduction to care, just everything that we provide our care professionals with in order for them to be able to learn how to support their clients out in the network is of a high standard. So we wanted to make sure that whoever we worked with were willing to bespoke the training that they provided so that it already incorporated everything that our care professionals had actually done. So we have specialist curriculum that is especially for Home Instead care professionals, and that's at all levels. That's 2, 3, 5 as well, and our business administration as well. So that was our main focus. What we didn't want is our care professionals to have to repeat the learning. So, because that, why would you do that? We know our learning is good, our training is good.
That's brilliant, thank you. And you spoke around kind of like bespoke programs for Home Instead. So how has our approach, TEND's approach, differed from other training providers that you've worked with?
Because you've worked with us. You've worked with us. You've listened to what it is that we actually provide for our care professionals, and you've enabled us and helped us to build that curriculum to match it to what they've already done, and recognise that the level of training that we actually provide to our care professionals is sufficient and high enough in order to be able to meet your standards as well as our standards. We've believed for a long time that care is not just a job, it's a profession. It's a career, and it deserves the same structured development, the recognition, and, enabling our care professionals that progression route that you'd expect in any other skilled sector, really, which is a real difficult message to get across, because we've always been, care in itself has always been the poor neighbour in terms of where it is. But at Home Instead, we provide high quality relationship led care, professionalising our care our care professionals, and the role of care all together really. So that's why we wanted to do it.
And I know that recently you've seen quite a lot of lot of achievers with Home Instead. So, what impact have you seen on your people since the training began?
So I think we've seen a lot of confidence building. We've seen more expertise, and we've seen a lot of long-term career pathways as well, which is something that we've developed. We've always wanted that aspect of it. A care professional joining today, in 3, 4, 5 years' time, may actually own a franchise, which is, amazing. And we have had that happen. And that's because of the journey that they've gone on and the support that we've given them in order to be able to achieve and continue with their professional development. And that's about whether or not they're brand new to care, whether they want to advance into leadership, or we've created that learning journey so that it supports them every step of the way.
Brilliant, thank you. And how is that translated into wider organizational benefits such as performance, retention, capability?
We've seen a significant increase in retention, in our retention rates, which is really difficult in this sector because they're very poor in the health and social care sector overall. And we believe it is part and parcel of the mentoring and the progression that we actually embed right from day one with our care professionals. And we're always encouraging our care professionals, our key players, our managers, our leaders to actually consider different methods of training, learning and development, and what is out there for their professional development, really. You know,
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Trish. And then, in terms of kind of like a wider question, why do you think that sector specific training matters in healthcare? And sorry, I'm going to pause there. I'm going to ask that question again. I'm just going to pause. Okay, and just kind of a wider question, Trish. Why do you think that sector specific training matters in care and healthcare?
I thought about this one quite a bit, actually, if I'm being honest, Paul. And, our apprenticeships cover everything from the fundamentals right from the start. You've got English, you've got maths, I know they're not part of it now, but they are important, and it's important to understand that. And, so those fundamentals, the high quality relationship led care that we actually provide, like, and to more specialists, like the dementia, like the end of life, like the leadership, all of those things, that's really special, and it's really important for our apprentices to learn in that real world environment. It's massively important. So, with that allows the growth, it allows the care professional to grow, it allows the service to grow, it increases retention and all the rest of it as well. And we have lots of experienced men within our offices as well. And we have a very high culture of values and curiosity, and we want continuous improvement right the way through. So the apprenticeship programs really help us to achieve that.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. And what would you say to another employer who was considering investing in apprenticeships or long-term development pathways?
Why wouldn't you? Actually, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want your staff to be the best that they can be, for them to feel like that they can achieve, that they can then bring their experiences and their knowledge, their understanding, not only to the clients that they're supporting to provide that high quality relationship led care, but also to others within their offices, so why wouldn't you? You want your employees to be there, to be the brand ambassador, but you also want them to be the person that others will come to. You want that mentor, you want that support element, and you want them to feel like because they've achieved, they can share. And what we've got to remember is that sometimes an apprenticeship certificate might be the very first certificate that anybody has ever achieved since school. And it's massively important, whatever level that is, and they should feel really proud of that, because it is massively important that they're actually achieving, and it can change lives. We've watched people who've never, ever imagined themselves in a professional role grow into confident and capable care professionals. We've seen team members progress from entry-level roles all the way up through field care supervisors into a training role and even into franchise owners, as I said before, and we've seen how that investment can directly improve the experiences of both clients and families as well. So, just why wouldn't you? I just think
Yeah.
it's a massive, it's a great opportunity for people to actually learn and achieve.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you, Trish. That really highlights kind of the retention and the progression piece around it all. That's great. Thank you. I think kind of like a final question, as it's National Apprenticeship Week, as Home Instead, have you got any kind of activities going on to celebrate National Apprenticeship Week?
Well, we've just had one of our apprentices pass, so we've got a lovely certificate. Actually, I've had to go and get that renewed because it's come and it's got damaged in the post. I'm so annoyed about it, but never mind. So so we'll be celebrating that. So she's done really, really well. We see across the network. We ask our network to let us know when somebody passes their apprenticeship, and hopefully at our Year 20 celebration. Imagine 20 years of Home Instead, of which I've been here for 9 of those. So seen a lot of changes in that time as well. So we will be celebrating the success of our key players and our care professionals during that event.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Trish.